On a long-haul flight from New Delhi to London, a passenger named Ravi was sitting anxiously, gripping the armrest as the plane soared through the sky. He had never been comfortable with flying, and the anxiety was building up inside him. As he glanced around, his eyes met the gentle face of an elderly woman sitting in the aisle seat across from him. She smiled warmly at him, her eyes twinkling with a sense of peace. This elderly woman, named Arte, was a grandmother who had traveled many times in her life. But today, she was traveling alone. Her daughter lived in London and she hadn't seen her in years. So finally, she decided to pay her a surprise visit. But when she got to the airport, she found out that she had to take a connecting flight from New Delhi because the flight to London was fully booked. As the flight took off, Artie felt a surge of excitement. She had taken many flights before, so she wasn't worried. However, she noticed a young man named Ravi sitting across from her. He was visibly nervous. He was biting his nails and his hands were shaking. Artie smiled at him, trying to put him at ease, but he quickly looked away, embarrassed by his behavior. Artie didn't mind. She had seen many nervous flyers in her lifetime and knew exactly how to calm them down. As the flight progressed, Artie settled into her seat, her eyes sparkling with life as she gazed out of the window at the fluffy clouds passing by. The vast expanse of the sky always filled her with a sense of awe and wonder. Suddenly, the plane hit some turbulence. Although Artie wasn't worried, she knew that this would probably freak out the young man sitting opposite her. She turned to him and said in a soft voice, "Beta, don't be afraid. Flying can sometimes be a little bumpy, but it's perfectly normal. It'll be smoother sailing soon." Her words carried the weight of her decades of experience, assuring Ravi that everything was under control. However, Ravi only nodded, unable to fully shake off the growing feeling of unease. A few minutes later, the turbulence intensified. The plane lurched violently, and a scream echoed through the cabin. Panicked, Ravi jumped out of his seat, his face pale as a sheet. "We're crashing! We're crashing!" he shouted, his voice cracking with fear. The other passengers looked up from their seats, startled by his sudden outburst. Some whispered nervously, while others tried to calm him down. Flight attendants rushed to his side, their faces etched with concern as they tried to soothe the visibly distressed man. But Ravi's panic only grew. Seeing this, Ati, the seasoned traveler, knew she had to act fast. Despite her old age, she swiftly got out of her seat and walked towards Ravi. Her steps were firm and purposeful, radiating a calm confidence that belied her years. As she reached the aisle, she turned to the passengers around her and said in a voice that was firm yet gentle, "Excuse me, please." She then moved past them without haste, her gaze fixed on Ravi, her heart heavy with a mix of concern and determination. Upon reaching Ravi, Adi placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, her touch surprisingly strong despite her frail frame. "Beta," she began, her voice a soothing balm in the midst of the chaos. "I know you're scared, but please listen to me. Nothing is going to happen." Her words were laced with empathy and authority, carrying the weight of a lifetime's worth of experiences. Ravi, though, still shaken, turned to her, his eyes filled with a desperate plea for reassurance. "But the turbulence, the crashing," he stammered, his voice trembling with fear. Artie, ever patient, allowed him to express his fears before gently cutting him off. "That's just the wind playing tricks on us," she explained calmly. Nothing more. Her tone was unwavering, projecting an air of confidence that was hard to question. With a deep breath, Artie guided Ravi back to his seat. Her grip tightened slightly on his shoulder, not to force him, but to encourage him. "Now sit down," she instructed softly, and relaxed. Ravi, though still apprehensive, followed her instructions, sinking back into his seat with a slight nod. Once seated, Artie wasted no time. She turned to the flight attendant and politely requested a glass of water for the young man. "He's a bit scared," she explained with a knowing smile, gesturing towards Ravi. The flight attendant, touched by Artie's kindness, immediately went to work. Returning shortly with a glass of water for Ravi, Artie then turned back to Ravi and offered him the drink with a warm smile. "Here, drink this," she said gently. It will help you relax a bit. Ravi, still shaking, but with a flicker of gratitude in his eyes, accepted the water and slowly sipped it, trying to steady his nerves. Throughout the remainder of the flight, Artie kept a close watch on Ravi, engaging him in light conversation to distract him from his fears. She spoke about her travels, her family, and even shared some humorous anecdotes from her life, each story more captivating than the last. All the while, her gaze never wavered from Ravi, ensuring he remained calm and composed. Her gentle humor broke through Ravi's fear, bringing a hesitant smile to his face. They talked about everything and nothing, and as the minutes passed, Ravi's fear gradually transformed into a sense of wonder. He marveled at the stories of Artie, impressed by her adventurous spirit and charmed by her easy laughter. As the plane began its descent into London, Ravi found himself feeling not just calm, but actually excited. He thanked Artie profusely, his earlier fear forgotten. "I can't thank you enough for helping me," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You're a true gem." Artie smiled, her heart swelling with warmth. "We all need a little help sometimes." "Beta," she replied, her eyes twinkling. "It's what friends are for." Ravi nodded, realizing the depth of her wisdom. He had not only found a travel companion in RT, but also a mentor in life. When they disembarked the plane and made their way through the bustling airport, Ravi and Artie walked side by side, their steps echoing the rhythm of their newfound friendship. As they said their goodbyes, Artie handed Ravi a small, worn leather pouch. "This might help you next time you fly," she said with a wink. Inside the pouch was a collection of smooth stones, each one seemingly ordinary, yet holding within it the potential to calm turbulent waters. These weren't just stones. They were tokens of courage, resilience, and hope. Each rock monolith symbolized an experience, a memory, a challenge overcome, a testament to a life well lived. With these stones in his pocket, Ravi felt a sense of comfort and strength, knowing that whenever fear threatened to overwhelm him, he could reach out and feel the cool, smooth surface of the rocks, grounding him in the present, reminding him of his own inner strength. As the days passed, Ravi found himself reaching for the pouch more often. The act of holding the stones became a ritual, a reminder to stay grounded and centered amidst life's storms. Whenever fear or anxiety threatened to engulf him, he would close his eye, feel the weight of the stones in his palm, and breathe deeply, finding solace in their silent wisdom. The stones became more than just smooth pebbles. They transformed into symbols of resilience, each crevice and curve telling a story of endurance and strength. And every time he held them, Ravi felt a renewed sense of courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The moral of the story: sometimes all it takes is a calming presence and a listening ear to navigate through life's turbulent moments. A simple act of kindness can be the anchor we all need to weather life's storm. Age is just a number, and wisdom can come from the most unexpected places. The courage of a grandmother, the calmness of a soul, and the wisdom of life's journey serve as guiding lights for those willing to seek and learn.